Welcome to the Amplified Tutoring Texas After School program. This tutor-led program targets students' foundational skills in small groups for 30-minute sessions and saves you, the tutors, valuable preparation time in the process. We're going to take a tour of this site in order to let you know how to get started with your program. First, along the top, you'll see the grade levels. Each button will take you to lessons that are designed for the students in that grade level. Below our welcome message, you'll see this Getting Started video. Below that, you'll see a heading that says Tutor Program Leads. This part of the site really is for those who are organizing the program, and it's to help them find groups for students. So the first choice is to use assessment data that you are given from the school or some information from the school to help you group. I'm going to click on this drop-down box that says Use My Own Assessment Data, and you'll see a table. On the left side of the table, there will be a description of what the student needs to work on. It's labeled Description of Student Profile, or who belongs in this group. It will let you know which group letter they should belong to, and I'll show you that next. And then finally, a description of the skills that group will be working on. Again, you'll need to have a description of your students before you can use this tool to group them. Another choice is to administer Amplify's entry point measures, and you would do that if you did not have access to student data and you needed to collect some. So I'm going to click on that drop down. So from here, it has very explicit instructions on what to do in order to administer Amplify's entry point measures. Each grade level has its own set of assessment measures, and so whoever is doing the assessment would go to the grade level button at the top and then find their directions, student record forms, and materials from this drop-down box. The directions give explicit instructions on how to administer the assessment, as well as a scoring table and a grouping table to allow those who are giving the assessment to then assign students to groups based on the student's needs. There's also a student record form that the assessor would fill out as they worked with the students, and it would allow them to keep score on how the students performed. And finally, there are student materials, and this is what we call student facing. So this is what the student is looking at while the tutor is administering the assessment. All right, returning to the site, we're going to now look at the bottom part, which is where a tutor will access all the information and lesson plans needed for their group. First, you'll see the column that says Group, and our groups are designated by a letter. So this is Group A. In this group, we have a description of what the students will work on. In the next column, we have the scope and sequence, and that lets us know exactly what the students will be working on, which target skills they will focus on. You can see here, Group A is working on phonological awareness and letter sounds, and we have a list of the specific letters they'll be working on through these lessons. Finally, in the right column, it says Instruction. You'll see lesson sets with 9 days of instruction and 1 review day available for the tutor to use. We suggest that you start at set 1. Once you've completed that, then you move to set 2, 3, then 4. There are going to be some materials needed for these lessons, and you can access those materials using this button that says Materials for Lessons. The lesson plan will indicate if you need materials. So let's take a look at a lesson set now. Each lesson set starts with a materials page, and it lets the tutor know what materials they need for each day of the lesson. Next, we have what we call our 10-day roadmap, and this shows the tutor what activities they'll be doing each day of the lesson. You notice that there's 9 days of instructions, and there's nothing for the 10th day. We suggest doing a review day on day 10 before starting the next lesson set. And then following the 10-day roadmap, we have an activity page for each of our lessons. So for day 1, this page is for activity A. The next page is for Activity B. Each activity page has the title of the activity, the goal of the activity, a timestamp of how long it should take, a list of materials, suggestions for how to prepare, a model section so the tutor can model the activity, and then student practice where they can start building their skills. If students are maybe struggling with the activity as written, there's also a support activity. Or if students are ready to move on, there's a challenge activity. So we have built-in differentiation so we can meet the students' needs. These lesson plans can be up to 50 pages long, so we do suggest that you save them digitally and not print them out. Returning to the site, we see all of this. To make it easy for tutors to find and access their materials and lessons, as well as provide students targeted instruction to meet their needs.